The iPhone 11 Pro is the first iPhone to feature 3 cameras on the back. Each of these 3 cameras serves its purpose for different shooting scenarios. If you want to get closer to an object to frame it tighter, you'd use the telephoto lens. If you want to capture really tall buildings or a cool skating POV, the ultrawide makes for some crazy shots. And it's easy to seamlessly switch between them before you take a photo and even while you're recording video. It's a great system. It's one of those it just works Apple things. I just don't understand why most applications lack the ability to independently control which back camera you're using. Think about this. Snapchat is an app that opens directly to the camera. And sure, you can digitally zoom, but you can't select which rear camera you want to use. And the same goes with the Instagram Stories camera. How about on the Twitter camera? No. What about TikTok? No. Okay, maybe the YouTube Stories camera? No. Or maybe the Facebook Stories camera? No shot. Okay, I get it. Most people probably don't have the newest iPhone, and therefore these app companies probably aren't prioritizing their software teams to update these apps to enable ultra-wide camera functionality for a relatively small subset of users. But keep in mind, the first iPhone to have 2 rear cameras was the iPhone 7 Plus that came out in 2016. Years later, I can't find a single social media app that enables the user to select which back camera they want to use. And it's not like the iPhone is the only phone to have multiple rear cameras. Just about every 2020 flagship has multiple cameras on the back. But what's even more perplexing to me, and the reason why I'm making this video, is that Apple doesn't let you choose which back camera to use during FaceTime calls. You can flip from the front camera to just one of the back cameras. And on the iPhone 11 Pro, it defaults to the ultra-wide. I'd argue that FaceTime is one of iOS's marquee features, and it works really well and has worked well since its introduction in 2010 when Apple launched the iPhone 4. It was the first iPhone with a front-facing camera. So why is it that when you spend upwards of $1,000 on a Pro iPhone, the only way to take full advantage of that rear camera system is by using the native camera app? Yes, you can spend $20 and buy Filmic Pro on the App Store, and you can select whichever camera you want to use. Or you can spend $5 and buy the Moment app, and it also lets you choose which camera you want to use. I just have trouble wrapping my head around the fact that Apple spends its engineering resources building products like Memoji and Animoji, which sure, they're cute and make me laugh, instead of implementing a function that already exists in another native app. That is the camera app. I am not a software developer, but I can imagine that Apple can take that little 0.5x, 1x, 2x UI element and just put it in FaceTime. I know you may be thinking to yourself, Sam, who cares? No one uses the back camera on FaceTime calls, and no one in their right mind cares to zoom using one of the back cameras during a FaceTime call. Well, then I'd ask you this. Why are you able to digitally zoom during a FaceTime call? Yes, that's right. Flip to your back camera, tap the Effects button, and pinch to zoom. Magic. Who knew? Did you know this existed? Do you know why it exists? Oh, maybe because people actually want to zoom in on things during FaceTime calls? Who would have guessed? And while we're at it, when will Apple let us zoom in with the front-facing camera on our phones? Every social media app lets you zoom in with your front camera, and Apple, just for whatever reason, doesn't. Also, how have we made it to 2020 and Apple is still shipping 720p webcams in their MacBooks? Sure, you can buy a 5K iMac and get a mythical 1080p webcam in there. But my iPhone 11 Pro lets me record 4K 60 with the front camera. Anyway, I digress. I'll leave you with this. 2.5 years ago, I made a video detailing my frustrations with Face ID on my iPhone 10 and wearing a mask. It only took a global pandemic, but Apple has mitigated this issue in iOS 13.5. The Face ID sensor detects that you're wearing a mask and skips the Face ID animation entirely and brings up your passcode immediately. Apple, thank you for this. Enjoy using the FaceTime digital zoom now that you know it's a thing. Tell your friends about it. I bet they'll be impressed. If you're new around here and enjoyed this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking that big red subscribe button. We've built a sizable audience of 300,000 here on YouTube, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you. Be sure to smash like on your way out because I know you learned something, and I'll catch you in the next video.